gave birth to Fionn, she was afraid, and she asked two old aunts to mind him and hide him deep in the forest with nature. So Fionn McCool grew up with nature. He understood the sound of the birds and followed the bees. He never forgot how to daydream with butterflies and how his aunts used to say to him, when you see a butterfly in the garden, it's a kiss from heaven from someone you love. And when he'd see the robin, he knew what it meant. And he knew how to count the magpies in the trees and read the signs. 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for girl, 4 for boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. They say that by the time Fionn was 7, he could swim faster than the salmon in the river. And some say he had his aunts to thank for that. For in the middle of the night, when it was dark, they'd bring him to the edge of the lake and they'd drop him. They'd turn their backs and they'd walk away. They'd go back to their cottage and they'd wait and wonder if he'd survive or ever even return. They say by the time Fionn was 9, he could run faster than the fox in the forest. And again they say it was his aunts who taught him to run. But when they caught up with him in the field, they'd beat him on the backs of his legs with a stick they had cut from the hazel tree. Now, some people think that's a cruel way to treat a child. And there are still some left on this land who say, Arisher, didn't they teach him to grow and run fast? But whether it's a truth or a lie, the story goes that by the time Fionn could climb the highest tree in the forest twice, he knew it was time to leave home. And so he left the care of his aunts and the only place he had ever known as home, in the search of the story of who he was born to become. Because ever from the time he was born, Fionn wondered, why did my mammy not mind me? And what really happened to my father? So he went off on a journey. He went off through Ireland, searching to find out, who am I? Why am I here? And what am I meant to do with my life? He went to the north, where you can often find trouble. He went to the south, where you can sometimes find a friend. He went to the east, where the sun always rises. And he went to the west, where all stories that begin also end. He searched and searched for why am I here? Who am I? And what am I meant to do with life? Some of us in this life still struggle on that journey. Why am I here? Where am I going? What am I doing? Fionn got tired. He got lonely. He got upset. Some say he might have even got depressed. He felt he was having a breakdown, and he fell down, and he collapsed onto the earth. But the earth held him, as the earth will always hold us. And any of us here who have fallen, or broken, or given up before, know the truth that Mother Earth will always hold us. For we're blessed by Mother Earth and Father Sky. But as he fell to the ground, and he began to cry, 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 he heard a voice in the wind whisper. And as he listened to the voice, he wondered, was it in front of him? Was it behind him? Was it above him or below him? And as he listened, he began to feel the voice stirred from the very centre within him, from his very own heart. And the voice of his heart said, believe, believe, believe. And as he listened more, the voice said, Fionn, look up, look out. For the world seen through eyes with tears is a very different place. And when he looked out, he saw an old beggar woman in the ditch. Where am I? Said Fionn. She said, you're at the very centre of Ireland, the heart of Ireland. You're on the sacred land called the 5th province, of Cuigacud, the place where magic happens, where healing happens, where gardens like the Tao of Now happen. A place where people who have never met can come together and strangers become friends, where no one has to be a winner or a loser, where we can all speak our truth and have it heard at the same time. And how did I get here? Said Fionn. Ah, she said, you found here the only way any of us can find our centre. You fell into it. For the only way to become centred is to go to the edge. The only way to find our story in life is to lose the plot. And the only way to find the path we're meant to be on is to fall off the paths we're not meant to be on. And how do I know what way to go? Fionn said. The old woman said, learn and remember to follow the signs. When he looked out, he saw a white stag on the mountain, and he knew which way to go. And so he went on. Fionn went on and on and on. But this time it was different. This time he could feel the energy of the earth filling him up with love and hope and faith again. The steps seemed lighter, his breath seemed freer, and his hope filled his heart. He went on and on. And as he walked, he listened to the sounds of the rivers and the ripples, and he listened to their whisper, and he thought and felt he could hear the words, hope, hope, hope. And every step he took, he was held with the word hope, hope, hope. And then he listened to the wind. And as he listened to the wind blow through the trees and whisper through the leaves, he felt he could hear another word. Fear, fear, fear. And then Fionn remembered that every step he had ever taken in life, he'd been surrounded by both hope and fear. Hope and fear. He saw light in the distance. When he got close to the light, he saw that it was a fire. And when he came close to the fire, it's nearly finished. Can I go on? And when he came close to the fire, he saw an old wise poet fishing. For legend had that Fionn would be the one to meet the fisherman poet. And the fisherman poet, legend said, was waiting to catch the fish who had ate the hazelnuts that had fallen from the holy tree into the pond. And whoever ate the fish who ate the hazelnuts from the holy tree from the pond would have the wisdom of all time, the truth of the past, the future, and the now. It's only the very, very, very wise people among us know that that's a truth that's very, very hard to carry. But on that night when the student met the teacher, and we only ever meet the teacher when we're ready to learn, and teachers only ever try to teach us things they don't yet understand, the old man and the young boy together caught the fish. And the old man said, I'm tired and old. Please, 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 cook this fish for me. And because Fionn had grown up in the woods with his aunts, and he knew what flower to pick to say sorry to your mammy, and what flowers to pick to say I love you again, he knew the herbs to pick for hope and forgiveness and the future. He gathered the most beautiful medicines of the plants in the garden, and he bathed the fish in them. And all night long he cooked the fish and tended the fire gently. And those of us who know the taste of food cooked with love know the difference. And just as the old man woke in the morning, a blister burnt on the fish. Fionn put his thumb to the blister, and as quickly as not even thinking, he put it in his mouth. And the old man knew and said, you've tasted the fish. And Fionn said, no, I never broke my promise. And the wise old man said, you've broken no promise today. For we always spend the first half of our lives making promises to others, and the second half of our lives trying to keep promises to ourselves.